You are listening to the Loida Lewis podcast, hosted by Loida Nicolas Lewis. She's a trailblazing businesswoman, leader, philanthropist, and the widow of Reginald F. Lewis, the visionary leader who was the first African American to build a billion-dollar company. With unparalleled determination, Loida Lewis has not only excelled as a successful attorney, but also shaped a billion-dollar empire. Following the untimely passing of her husband, Reginald F. Lewis, she took the helm of TLC Beatrice, carving her legacy as a successful business leader. Be inspired and learn from her as she shares her wisdom, the secrets to her success in both business, in love, and in life. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn. With your host, Miss Loida Lewis.
Welcome to the Loida Lewis podcast. And today I have the honor of interviewing the Mr. Hollywood, Ruben Nepales. So welcome.
Thank you for having me, Loida. Thank you very much. What an honor. Thank you.
No, the honor is mine. Why? Because Ruben Nepales is the first Filipino to be a member of the Golden Globe Award. Now, for those of you who are not moviegoers, Ruben, can you explain what is the Golden Globe Award?
The Golden Globe Awards recognize excellence in television and film. And we've been going on for 8 decades now, and we're going strong. So each year we give out the awards in January, that's where the award season starts. Actually, we start the award season because that's the first major awards show of the season. And I'm very proud as a Filipino to be the first Filipino member of the association, and hope you guys, if you're not aware yet of the Golden Globes, I hope you get to watch when the show comes in January.
Okay, so they choose which is the best film in the movies and television?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Of course, the best actor, the best actress, supporting actors, all of that.
Yeah.
And they are the first one to says, this is it. And most of the time, isn't it? Your selection?
Yes, we are proud to say that our choices are usually the forerunner, and especially the prognosticator of who will win in the Oscar Awards. So we're very happy with that, and we're very proud of that. And usually because it's the first award show, when the winners are called out, it's like their first time, so they get more emotional, they get more excited, and they're more spontaneous in their reactions because it's like their first major awards that they will get.
Yes, yeah. For any actor, that
Yes.
really is like shows. Yes, this is the I am recognized finally.
Yes.
Yes.
It means a lot, especially for many actors who appreciates this recognition for all their work, because sometimes it's that thankless task, this filmmaking, directors and script writers and all that, and especially the actors. So to be given this recognition is something that they value and they cherish.
Yes, very good. Do you remember the very first time you were, first of all, how are you become a member? Do you have to apply? You have to, how did you become a member?
It's kind of a long story, Loida. Thanks for asking. I can humbly say that to be a member, it takes a lot of application, review, and all that. But I was very fortunate to be in this interview session with another journalist from Europe. And after that interview session, this journalist told me, why don't you apply and become a member of the Golden Globe? So that's how it started. And then you go through the sponsorships, reviews, you submit your articles, and voting process. So it's a complex process.
Okay, so for all of you, you are really a journalist.
Yes.
That's what you took in college.
Well, it's a funny story, Loida.
Okay,
because
yes, please tell everybody.
In hindsight, I should have taken journalism, but I took up communication arts.
Okay.
Which is actually probably the next best thing. But in hindsight, I should have taken journalism like Janet did take journalism. But I think when you have it in you, that the will, the passion, that inclination to write. I think no matter what course you take, if you want to be a writer, I think it's gonna come out.
Okay. Communications art means all types of medium.
Yes, writing
television, writing. Okay.
Writing for TV, film, and radio.
Okay. So did you start that here in the United States, or you were born in the Philippines and raised in the Philippines?
Yes, I was born in the Philippines, a proud product of public schools from elementary to high school in my province of Pangasinan.
Pangasinan. Okay.
So I'm very proud of my humble roots. And then in college, I went to UST. And even in grade school in Pangasinan, I started writing already, creating stories.
In high school?
In
elementary school?
Grade 5, let's say.
Really?
You know how we had spiral notebooks?
Yes, spiral
notebooks. So I would write, invent, create stories, and then tear that page, and then I would force my friends, my classmates,
to read
it. So even then, I already had that inclination to write. And then in high school, I joined the high school paper, and then I became the editor.
Editor already.
And then also in UST, I also joined the college journal, and from then on, I started actively writing.
Right. So does that mean that you were not only imaginative? How did you develop the skill and the imagination and the craft of writing?
I would like to credit my mom, who was my 5th grade school teacher. And
really?
Yes.
Oh, did she play favorite?
No, I don't think so. In fact, on the first day of 5th grade, she pinched everyone. The whole class. I was so embarrassed. That back then it was okay to pinch people. But I think she wanted to be a writer. She wanted to be a journalist. But I think the practical side of life back then forced her to become a teacher instead. But she wrote to pen pals. And I read those letters, and she wrote very nicely. She had friends from America and all over. And so I read those letters, and she wrote those letters. And I think that also inspired me to become a writer.
Yes. And just reading letters from abroad at 5 years old, that your mother was able to connect with them.
Yes.
That must have been.
It's just fascinating to read, especially in the life of people from other parts of the world. And especially also the response of my mom, it means a lot. It gave me insights on life and relationships.
That's great. Good. So after college, UST, you were also editor-in-chief?
No, I was not.
But in high school, you were.
Janet was editor-in-chief, but we were not in the same year. She likes to say that I am 20 years ahead of her in UST, but we were in the same college journal, but she's the one who became the editor-in-chief editor of Varsitarian, the main paper. And from college...
So you were classmates?
No, we were not.
No, but you knew about her?
Okay, this I can tell you our romance story.
Sige.
So
yes,
I'm like 2 years ahead of her, and then we were both in the same college journal. And I think even now they take photos of the staff.
Yes.
So I had a crush on her even then.
Wow.
So we were standing together, and I put my arm around her. And she didn't like me well because she said that I looked like a nerd, very geeky. And I put my arm around her. The more she got turned off with me because she said how fresh. Presko. That's how we say it.
Yes,
presko naman itong mama. I think the more she got turned off with me. So from college, I worked for a village club. It's owned by the Puyat. It's in Batangas. But that also involved writing for the newsletter of that resort. And then from then on, I applied to Music Corporation, the leading record company in the Philippines, and I became a publicity writer. But on the side, I already started contributing to newspapers and magazines. And then from Vicor, I would jump to WEA, or Warner Electric Atlantic of the Philippines. And even then, I was already contributing on the side to newspapers. And when we immigrated to the States, there was a spell of maybe several years that we didn't write because we were busy raising the family and starting a new life. As you know, Loida, starting a new life in the States is difficult. So and then when the girls started going back to school, then we resumed writing to the newspapers and magazines in the Philippines.
So while you're racing, you took any job, whatever job will give, to pay the rent.
Yes.
And to send them to school.
Loida, it was like a dramatic scene out of a movie, because you know how difficult it is to land a first job. Especially, they keep asking for your local experience. How can you have local experience?
You just arrived.
You just arrived. So how can you have local experience if they don't give a chance? So there were many scenes, Loida, when after an interview that I got rejected again, I would sit in the park first before going home, and I was said, Did I make the right decision
to come here?
Because it is depressing, to be started all over again, and because not to be modest about it, but we enjoyed a good career in the Philippines, and then to start all over again. So it was quite a trial and error. And then one of my first jobs was for a financial printing. There's such a thing as a financial printing that prints the documents, the prospectuses. I'm sure you read those.
Yes.
And even though these are prepared and written by Harvard-educated lawyers, somebody still has to check the grammar and proofread them.
Yes.
So one of my first jobs was as a proofreader of these documents.
Yes. And when you said you made the decision to come here, how was you have a very established job in the Philippines. By that time, you and Janet got married already? Okay.
No. Because my mother petitioned me as an immigrant. So I don't know if it's true today, but back then it would be easier if you stay single.
Yes,
if
of
you're
course.
petitioned.
Yes.
And Janet and I were already on. We were on. We've been girlfriend boyfriend for a long time, but we discussed it, and we thought that we wanted our children to have the opportunities that we didn't have, because Loida, Janet, and I come from humble beginnings, and we thought if we have children, we wanted them all the opportunities that we were not able to have in the Philippines, and we thought that the state would give us those opportunities for our kids.
Wow, really? So that was very brave. Yes,
it was
very brave.
Yes.
No, brave new world.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were able to get this job in a print publishing financial papers.
Yes.
Okay. How about Janet? She was taking care of the kids.
No, she was. She also had a tough time looking for a job, but then she found a job. As the next best thing, I guess, is that I think you're probably familiar with Sunset Magazine.
Yes, Sunset Magazine. Yes.
It's like a lifestyle magazine of California and the western states. And she found a job as a secretary in that job. So it was like the next best thing for her.
Yes. Well, as I said, we are all immigrants, and the first thing is that get a job, any job, as long as it will help you survive.
Yes. Because Loida, my family was staying in a rat-infested apartment, but that's all they can afford. So I came first, and then Janet followed me after a month. And so the day before she arrived, I was busy just watching cockroaches, just to make it at least livable for her. And then one of my first jobs was night shift. So we were living in a very bad neighborhood where there are gangs. So at midnight, I would take the bus. It was difficult, especially during winter. It was cold. I would take the bus.
In California?
This is in LA.
Oh, LA, okay.
I would take the bus, hop on the bus to downtown LA. Back then, downtown LA was not the gentrified area it is now, and I would take the bus downtown, which was a very bad area back then, and then I would take another bus to another very bad area. My employer advised me that as soon as I got off that bus, I should just run to our office building and make sure that I run away, because it's a really bad neighborhood.
Wow, my goodness. Yes. Because you had no car. You had to take public transportation.
No car, because at Loida, in the Philippines, we didn't have a car. I honestly admit that I thought I would go through life without having to own a car, until of course we went to LA and California, and you need a car in California. So,
yes.
That's when we had a car.
And you had already children by then?
Well, the story is that it took some time before we were able to uh, have our first daughter.
Yes, you had to
And-
establish yourself
Yes,
first,
and
I
also the
suppose.
fact that, you try and, people ask, kailan kayo magkakanak? When can you have your kid? It's something that we don't want our daughters experience. So we just say, we don't ask. So finally we get our own daughter and then another daughter.
Yes, just like me, 2 girls.
Yes, 2 girls.
Yes.
Yes.
And so when you said by the time were going to school, then you had to you have more free time.
Yes, finally we have more free time. So we started writing again for newspapers and magazines in the Philippines. And that's when we started interviewing stars in Hollywood.
Yes. And I was very pleased to buy your book, or I got your book. And this is so amazing through a writer's lens. And when I look at it, all the famous movie stars. So can you just tell me, how were you able to get Meryl Streep is here, George Clooney, Oprah Winfrey? Yes, very good.
Well,
So, yeah. How-
Loida, thank you very much for supporting us, especially buying those books. As a member of the Golden Globes, we were able to interview all the stars. And at the same time, while we were interviewing the stars, I was also taking their photos, their pictures during the interview. So that's like a double challenge for me to be able to take good photos and also interview. And I'm so lucky. I feel so blessed, Loida, to be able to come up with that book, because during the pandemic, we find everything came to a halt, and finally because Bessie Badilla, Bessie
Yes,
Badilla,
of course.
she has been encouraging us to come up with our own books, and thank God for Bessie, because if Bessie did not
push you.
because I never thought that I have a book material in me, but she said, you have a lot of material. We have enough material for a book. So finally, during the pandemic, everything came to a halt, as I said. So finally, I was able to write, and I'm so glad that I have that book to show for all the years that we've been interviewing and taking pictures.
Yeah, what I'm so surprised is that the photographs are pitch perfect, meaning to say they're so clear. So how did you have all the paraphernalia of the camera?
Thank you, Loida. That's actually like grace under pressure, because you're taking pictures, click, 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 while they're talking at the same time. So, and you have to find the right moment to get the right that mood, that right mood, and to listen during the interview and also take pictures. It's actually quite a challenge. So I'm really glad that I have this book to show for my experience.
Yes. No. Now, can I ask you, which of the thousands of pictures, hundreds of famous actors, actresses that is there, whom did you find the most appealing or the most human, or whom did you like best?
Well, I have to say it's Meryl Streep, because as my photos show of Meryl Streep, I hope that I was able to capture how down to earth she is, how approachable she is, and how candid she is to us. Like Loida, one time we were interviewing her, and she admitted that she was actually thinking what to cook for the kids. Because during that time, the kids were still with her. She actually admitted that during that time, she was thinking of what to cook for the kids at night. That's how candid she is. That's how approachable she is, and how sincere she is. And she says that with that laughter of hers. So Meryl Streep, or my photos of her are one of my favorites.
Right, wonderful. Don't mention the name. Was any one of them that you found is a really, double down? You don't have to mention the name, but what experience?
Yes, these are human beings, so we have all kinds of human personalities. But there was an actor, and let's just politely call he had a reputation too for being an a-hole. So I think people like that actor, they don't like that. They don't have the confidence. They feel so insecure about themselves. That's why sometimes they think that you're thinking wrong about them, or you have something negative about them. So this actor actually walked out on us.
Didn't finish the interview?
Yeah, walked out. That was a first. But then guess what? After 10 minutes, he came back. But I'm happy to report that, humans evolve. They progress. So this actor became a family man, and since then, he became a nicer, gentler person that's easier to approach and talk to.
That's good. All right. So for the audience, people evolve. Okay. So you cannot say you have a judgment of one person and then he will remain that way.
Yes.
That's
That's
good.
true. Right, Loida?
Yes.
Because if not, what's the point of us in being humans? Because we're supposed to evolve into better human beings. So that's our hope for everyone.
Yes. That's excellent. And also, as I read your biography, you have won so many awards. Can you just explain, what was your most happiest that when you got it, you said, I've made this?
Well, there's one called the National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards, given by the Los Angeles Press Club. And people ask me, where do you put all those trophies? But, it's always, they're everywhere, but the important thing is that they're in my heart. I know them and I appreciate them. But guess what, Loida? Last night, we were at the Soho Film Festival. And I think it was the first time that Drew Diamond Phillips really was able to talk to me and really recognize me. Oh my God, Loida, the words that he told me in appreciation for what we are doing for Filipino artists, promoting them, writing about it. Oh my God, that made my night.
That's lovely.
I mean, more than the trophy, it's hearing those words from a talent like Drew Diamond Phillips. And I was really taken aback. I was surprised because I think that was the first time he was able to talk to me.
And to praise you for the good work you're doing.
Yeah, I couldn't really. It was we were able. This was backstage before we presented awards, and she said, "So you're Ruben Nepales?" I said, "Yes." Oh my God! And this reaction was just priceless. It's probably one of the precious moments in my life.
That's wonderful. Okay, for those who do not know, please explain what is the Soho International Film Festival.
Soho International Film Festival just had its 15th year. And Loida, I'm sure you know that we're very happy to say that this Soho Film Festival is an international film festival, and it's founded and run by two Filipinos. So I'm very happy about that. It's Sibyl Santiago and Jorge Barrios, or Justin, we also call him. So for this international film festival to be held in Soho, it's something to be proud of. That it's founded by this and run by these two Filipinos.
Yes. So again, they started very simply, and by dint of effort, now they are well known. It's one of them.
It's really nice. And you were there at the opening.
At the opening, yes.
And it's really nice, especially last night too, at the closing night, that it's a mainstream. It's an international community of filmmakers who were there, and they really appreciated the awards that were given to them. So, speaking of humble beginnings, Loida, Janet and I are also the co-founders of the Manila International Film Festival.
That's right.
So in January next year, we're having our second year. And this is also our way of giving exposure and promoting Filipino filmmakers. And with this coming second edition, we're hoping to spotlight more filmmakers from around the world, Filipino filmmakers from around the world, not only from the Philippines.
That's wonderful. All right.
you.
For those who are watching, the Manila always had a film festival. Okay. And so what gave you that idea? Why not bring it to the United States in Los Angeles? Starting last year.
Yeah, we started with them. We know in Manila we have what we call the Metro Manila Film Festival. It's something that's been going on. In fact, they're celebrating their 50th year this year. And we thought with them to establish an international edition of that film festival. And we are thankful for them. But now, with this second year, we're hoping to open it more. Not only to the Manila Film Festival, but to all Filipino filmmakers from around the world.
That's true, because Canada has their own Filipino filmmakers.
Yes, and they're all over the world too. Australia, Europe, we have Filipino filmmakers, who are products of, Eurasians or Canadian Filipinos.
That's fantastic. So always breaking new ground.
Yes, that's what we should be doing, because I think that's our goal as we discussed earlier, to evolve, to progress, and think of other ways for us, especially for us to break new ground and help our fellow Filipinos.
Okay, but in order to do that, you need financing. So how are you able to get sponsors, to support this international first Manila International Film Festival. Okay.
Or MIFF, as we call it.
Okay.
Again, very good question, Loida. Thanks for asking that. As you know, as in any undertaking, this is like, we're a nonprofit, so raising funds, especially that first edition, is always hard. So thank you for asking. So for the second edition, we're trying to raise more funds so we'll be able to give more, provide more venues and more events and screenings to the filmmakers. So right now we're scrounging around for funds. So hopefully we'll be able to scrounge for more funds. So we'll give Filipino filmmakers what they deserve.
Yes. All right. Again, for those audience, see, they don't even have enough funds, or by dint of effort, we'll start it. And
Thank
you did.
you, Loida. Thank you.
Yes. It's really that first thing that's very important.
Yes.
And you started it, and then it will grow.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Now go back on the personal level. When you said you had your eye on Janet, even if you were 2 years ahead of her. So how did that happen? How did she nainis sa'yo? She was, fresco. Fresco. You will put your arms over her on the picture taking. So paano nangyari? What happened?
You know Janet, Loida, and the moment I saw her, this lively, bubbly personality, smiling, and then, believe it or not, I still remember, because I lived in Quezon City, she lived in Quezon City, so sometimes she will be waiting for the same bus. Mm-hmm. And this is very sweet of Janet. She and her Lola or grandma are very close. Mm-hmm. So sometimes the Lola would come to UST and they would have merienda in Little Quiapo. There was a Little Quiapo in front of UST.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was one afternoon when I saw them, Lola and Janet, together. Mm-hmm. It's still fresh in my mind that she was talking to her Lola and they were like laughing and very sweet to each other. So that made me fall in love with her.
That's wonderful. That's great.
Thank you.
Yes. What did you do that you finally understood? Oh, he's not too fresh anyway.
Well, like I said, she did like me because as you can imagine, I came from the province. I looked like a nerd. I was so thin.
Promby,
exactly. I was so geeky and all that, and then. So she didn't want to give me the time of day, as we said, fresco, for me to put my arm around her. But then after college, nagkapera na ng konti, Loida, so medyo bumibili na ako ng damit. I was able to gain a few pounds. So I saw her again after college. My first job was being a PR, as I said, of a record company. Mm-hmm. So I went to the newspapers and big PRs, and she saw me. And according to her, she said, may potential na ito. Because I was dressed better and I gained more pounds. So
yes, and she saw I'm sure she saw your talent in writing, which is her love too.
Yes, and not only that, because maybe I impressed her because I worked for a record company. Mm-hmm. So the American artists would come for concerts in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. Of course, being with the record company, I had the best suites in the house. Mm-hmm. So that was one of our first dates, to bring her, and then she was very impressed that we would go nearer and nearer the stage. And then she said this must be expensive. But then she realized, this guy works for a record company, so she would have this good tickets. And if I may share to Loida that I'm sure you know Paul Williams.
Yes.
The singer who's the Oscar-winning singer, composer of You and Me Against the World. So as a PR, my job was to host press conferences for these visiting artists. And this was one of our first times that Janet and I saw each other. So I invited her to the press conference. And then, so there was Paul Williams, and then there were all this press, and Janet and I were flirting with each other. Of course, we were not aware. Of course, the mics were open, so Paul Williams and everybody could hear our flirting. So Paul Williams said at one point, if only some people will stop talking. So Paul Williams is memorable to us. You'll be surprised that many young kids don't know Paul Williams. I have to sometimes sing, and they don't even recognize you and me against the world.
Yes, no, well, the young people now are in the present.
Yes,
they don't know the past.
Of course, they know they're hip hop rap artists, but I understand that.
Yes. Okay, so after how many years that you've been married?
Okay, Donna will hate me for saying this, but we're gonna celebrate the milestone next year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, great.
We're gonna celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah. But I have to tell that for the sake of Janet, we got married when we were 12. Okay, so we were getting married when I was 12. She was 11. But yes, we are.
Wow, wonderful.
That's something to look forward.
So, what would you tell? What is the secret of a long and together? You're still together. You're still in love with each other, and you're in Hollywood with all of these actresses. So, what would you say is the secret?
Well, the main secret is
long marriage.
We are friends first and foremost. That's very important in a relationship, that we are friends. We have a good laugh, and also because we share the same talent for hopefully the same inclination to write. And also very important is that we are in the same occupation, so we have the same travel opportunities, because we understand and sympathize with couples that don't have the same privilege. So sometimes it's difficult when one person travels, the other does not, and that sometimes creates conflict. But the most important, Loida, is that we've always maintained that if we ever have any conflict, before we go to sleep, we will try to resolve it.
Really?
We don't want to go to bed
angry,
having any anger or mad feelings or anything like that. That's what we've always strived.
Really?
We should, before going to bed, if one of us is not feeling good about something, we will discuss it in the open and we will try to resolve it.
Wow, that's excellent. Guys, you heard it. 40 years marriage, and they will not go to sleep with sama ng loob, with something that is in their heart against the other.
Yes.
That is wonderful. That is terrific.
Whenever we attend weddings, that's what we always advise. Even our unsolicited advice, that's what, because we love these couples that we attend their weddings, and we always say that no matter what, try not to go to sleep bearing sama ng loob.
So how do you do it? Because you're still angry with her for whatever reason. So how do you patch? I mean, how do you patch up?
Loida, kasi it's not a good feeling to go to sleep with may sama ng loob. So it's not a good feeling. So in my case, I'd really rather just discuss it and at least talk about it. Yeah.
So when you talk about it, is there a rule? When I'm talking, don't talk. When you're talking, I will not talk. Or something like that.
That's a good rule. That's a good rule, Lloyd. As they say, kung galit yung isa, medyo lie low ka lang, or kung yung isa talagang hyper, the other spouse should relax and chill, because otherwise hindi kayong pwedeng magsabay.
Right. Okay. All right. That is good lesson, Ruben. There are many other questions, but I think time is up. And thank you for sharing with us your lovely experience in Hollywood. Here is Mr. Hollywood, Ruben Nepales. This is the Loida Lewis podcast. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn together. Salamat.
Thank you, Loida. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
The Loida Lewis podcast, hosted by Loida Lewis, is produced by the creators of Over a Glass or Two, Jesse and JV. Executive produced by Loida Nicolas Lewis. Rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for a chance to be featured on a future episode. Have a question for Miss Loida? Just email us on askloidalewis@gmail.com. Your question might make its way to a future episode. Subscribe on all major platforms to never miss a beat. Thank you for listening to the Loida Lewis podcast. Let's live, love, laugh and learn together.